So it's come to my attention as it seems to be that attendance at movie theaters has been on a steady decline for the past few years, and that although revenues are still at an all-time high, the actual theater attendance is at an all-time low. Um, and it really doesn't surprise me one bit for a number of factors. One, uh, every year the prices increase every year to the point to where a typical employee has to spend quite a bit of their hard-earned money to go see a movie. Um, and I'll throw out some numbers here. When I was a young adult in the mid 90s, I know I'm giving away my age here. I could go see a movie in the afternoon for $3.50. And at that time the minimum wage was 4.25. So basically an hour's wage after taxes I could go see a movie. Well now, you know, today's movie ticket prices, um, I've seen as much as $15 for an afternoon matinee, and today's minimum wage is still 7.25 or 7.50. Um, so that's almost 2 hours worth of work after taxes in order to go see an afternoon movie. Um, the dollar just does not go as far as it used to, back in the day. And in all honesty, you know, without getting to into the world of politics, a person cannot does not have as much money to go as far as they used to. And of course, back then, you had your distractions like your Nintendo and Genesis. But today, I mean, we're far more distracted. We have our systems, video game systems. We have our Netflixes, we have our Amazons, we have our and Twitches, and even yes, we have our YouTubes. But we also have our cell phones where we're constantly downloading apps, social media. Um, Mobile games, spending a dollar here, a dollar there. So not only does the dollar not go as far, but we have a lot more things to spend our money on. So in that case, things have to go by the wayside. And I hate to say it, going to the movie theater just does not hold the same allure as it used to. And I hate to say that. Case in point, and is in the past 2 months, the only movie that I've seen that even had anywhere close to a full theater has been Black Panther. Okay. And in the past 6 months, I would have to say probably the only theater that I've been to a packed house has been Star Wars The Last Jedi. Um, but everything else, uh, really paltry numbers. And I'll give some examples here. I saw Tomb Raider a few weeks ago, and there was only three of us. My son, myself, and one other person. And this was the premiere night. This wasn't an afternoon showing. This wasn't 2 weeks after the fact. This was the night it came out, and there was only three people there. Uh, Ready Player One. My wife and I saw that, and and we saw it premiere night, and I'd have to say it was about 20, 30 people at the most. And just the other day, my son and I went and saw Blockers. 20, maybe. And this was premiere night. And premiere weekend is the ultimate, ten, the ultimate number to say how the movie's going to track for the rest of its run. Um, the first week is always pretty much what starts as the placeholder. If it makes 50 million the first week, then they expect the second week to be 25, and so on and so forth. So if my theater is only seeing 3 people for Tomb Raider on its premiere night, guess what? The week after, you're looking at some empty houses. So, and like I said, folks have other things to do. They don't have as much time to go to the theater, especially with everything else that's going on. And I also have to say that the theater experience is just not what it used to be, especially where, I go in, uh, sit down, I have people talking behind me and people talking in front of me, and, somebody playing on their cell phone. And I have to give the person, they turned it off when the movie started, but they played on their cell phone whatever game they were playing until the very moment the movie started. Um, and they actually had the sound going and everything, and that's very distracting. Uh, and I don't live in a huge metropolitan area. I'm pretty sure when date night comes, you have some packed houses, and then more of the in the city in the young people area, by the colleges and universities, they probably see better returns. But as an industry, huh, I believe the industry is suffering quite a bit. And you also have to include the fact that as competitors such as Netflix and Amazon are generating original content that's almost the same or about the same caliber as what you're seeing in the movie theaters, that's almost taking the reason why to even go to the theater. And case in point with that was the Cloverfield paradox. Super Bowl evening, uh, we watched the Super Bowl and we saw a commercial for the Cloverfield paradox. We already knew the Cloverfield universe, and so it said it was on Netflix that night. Well, guess what? We went on Netflix and watched it the next day, and it didn't cost me any more money than I was already spending, the 14.99 a month that I'm already spending. So that right there, didn't require me to go to the movies and spend, $20, and then and that's not counting popcorn and drinks and what have you. But still, I mean, I didn't have to go and deal with all that hassle. Um, Netflix and Amazon are producing viable competition, and the theaters are suffering. Now the theaters are trying to, compensate and trying to change things. One with assigned seating, which I think is a improvement, and other theaters are trying to do dine-in options, which I have yet to experience. I'll probably do that one day. But in a nutshell, I think we're gonna probably, unless they do something incredibly drastic, uh, I think we're gonna start seeing some theater chains dropping off the map, or we won't see them as permeated as we are in smaller areas. We'll probably start seeing them close down, and only be in places where they know they can grab a younger demographic that's willing to spend that extra money for the movie going experience. And of course, there are some outliers, such as, the Star Wars and the, Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I won't say DC because obviously DC can't figure out what the hell they want to do. But some movies are going to make their money. I mean, in a couple of weeks, everybody's going to be at the Avengers watching it. But once the Avengers is over, then we have, Solo and Deadpool, but it's still few and far between. No, I think we're not going to see these regular movies in the theater, and I think it's a sad state. So anyway, what are your thoughts about going to the movie theater? Do you think is it something you do? Do you like going to the theaters anymore? Is it too much of a hassle? Post your comments below. Uh, If you'd like to hear more from me and my ramblings, hit that like and subscribe button. If you want to be notified You can always hit that little bell off to the side as well. You can also follow me on Twitter, and I'm pretty confident that you'll get notified uh, better from Twitter than you will from YouTube of any of my future postings. Anyway, that's my thought on the industry, and I'll talk to you guys later. Play on.